Hey guys, this is Locke. This is my video talking about the tower that is going to be re-released tomorrow. It's not exactly re-released. We are going to be getting an additional 10 levels of the tower. But for people that are starting recently, this is probably the very first time you're going to be doing the tower. Um, you can access the tower by going to events and then clicking on this one. The reason that I'm sending this video out today before the tower is released is because I want to let everyone know that, especially if you're a new player, you want to get started on this right away. There is a timer that you want to take advantage of, so the sooner you get started on the tower, the better it is for you. So basically, the tower is going to start off. There's going to be 50 different levels that you can progress to. This guide is kind of going to be aimed at new players, but I think there might be like a few things that maybe a little bit older players might benefit from as well. But mainly, it is geared towards new players, assuming that you have no idea what the tower is or how to go about it. So as I said, there's 50 levels. It starts from very easy to quite difficult by level 50. The first few levels, you can actually set up a formation. Let me just do a sample formation here. You can set up a formation of units that are not magic. So I'm going to disband this and set up like, especially range units are very good for the first few levels. So if you have range units, use them, but don't use magic. And I'll tell you in a second as I set up a team. So maybe a tank. Who else? Sure, a spear user. He has good range, good mobility, and maybe somebody else like this who has 4 range. So this is a good team to start with. And when you are doing the tower, you're going to set skills off. There will be an option in the menu to set your skills on or off when you're doing the tower, and you want to start with skills off because your skills can only be used up to its limit for each day. So for example, if I look at Nivlu's skills, under her sniper job, for example, she can use slow shot 5 times. So she will use this 5 times, and then for the duration of the day until you hit that reset button, she can't use slow shot anymore. So um, in the earlier levels where everything is very easy, you don't really want to use your skills. You don't want to deplete them. You want to save them for a little bit harder enemies. So therefore, it's quite easy to do probably at least the first 5 levels on full auto using only normal hits. You can actually probably get a little bit higher. I think when I did it the very first time, I was able to get to like level 12 of the tower using only like normal attacks and setting it on auto. So go as high as you can. Just keep an eye on your health bar. Make sure that nobody takes more than 50% damage by the end of the stage. And the reason that you want to use physical attackers and not magic attackers is because, for example, if you use somebody like Mediana and you turn off her skills, like she's going to auto hit for with an attack of 112. Okay, maybe it'll be a little bit higher, but say like 200 attack. That's not going to do anything. Her power really comes from her skills. So most magic users are like that. So therefore, that is why I don't advise using magic users in the beginning. But as you start getting into those levels where you kind of have to use some skills, it's always advisable to bring at least one unit that can heal. That might be like Halloween Leela or Ayaka or Yuna. Yuna is great, obviously, a very good healer. But don't forget the lower variety healers as well, like Phoebe or Grace, for example. Whoever you've raised, even if they're not like level 99, you can probably bring them at level 70 or 80, whatever it is that you have them at. You can bring them, and because skills, like every count of a skill counts until you reset, you can also use different sub-jobs of different units. So for example, like I typically always have Nivlu doing Time Mage, but I might start off with her using her gunner skills. So she has access to, for example, this great buff, and she also has access to 3 different skills here, which which will do more damage than her normal hits. So I might start with this, and once all the skills are completely depleted, I might switch to, for example, sniper, and use those skills. And once that's done as well, then maybe I'll switch to Time Mage, and maybe by that time, maybe when I'm switching her to Time Mage, all of her skills, including all her main job skills, are all depleted. So she might actually just be a Time Mage bot using haste and quicken on my other units that are going to be the main damage dealers of that round. So that is a strategy that I might be using, and you can definitely use that strategy for the tower. just some things to note, especially if you're a new player. Don't be intimidated by it. I think really, as a new player, the only thing that you really want to get in case you at some point get Rain or you really want to use Rain is Rain's Sword. And that is actually should be on him, so let me just go there. Uh, this, oops, this sword. That is really the best thing from the tower because I mean it's really only for Rain. So if you don't have Rain, or if you're planning on not using him, then it doesn't. It's not going to serve you as it's not really going to serve you if you don't use or plan to use Rain. But if you are, you should get it. And it's always better to grab it when you can. You don't know when you might use it again. After that, and I think you can get that at level 15. Once you get that, every 10 levels starting at level 30, you get another item. And these items are not that great. Let me show you on a light unit because I have one of them built out, but I can probably count on one hand how many times I've used it because I very rarely use it. Where is it now? This one, the luminous armlet. So it gives you a little bit of attack or magic. If you're equipping this with another weapon, just keep in mind that the attack stat will be halved because if I have a weapon like this, the attack stat from this is going to come, so I'm going to get 200 attack from this and just 40 attack from the armlet. The great thing about this is the resistances. It gives you 20 dark resist and 15 light resist, and then gives you negative resistances to poison and doom. I think I get this at the level 40th level of the tower, and I can get a similar one for the level 30, a water armlet of some kind. It gives you similar stats and resistances, I think, for fire and water resistance instead of light and dark. But it's like so situational that I didn't even bother making it. Like it's still sitting in my craft pile. Actually, I don't. I think I actually get it as an item. Let me double check. I think I get the item, but I think I haven't actually bothered leveling it up. Yeah. So I get a level 1 item. I just never bothered like leveling, raising or awakening it to level 50, because I don't really see myself using this very often, if at all. I think I've played around with the light ring here and there, but I've never really seriously used it. So therefore, like, don't be intimidated. If you only get to like level 25 as a brand new player, that's fine. Don't stress about it at all. Um, Now the reset mechanic. So you start from level 1, and say you get to like level 10 on the first day, doing it completely on normal auto, and then maybe say you do like 2 more levels using skills, and once your roster, like say all 5 of these units are defeated, you can use a different team. You can use, say, this team where you can put 5 other characters and run that level. Any enemy whose HP you got down will stay down. So if you attacked, like say, one of those boss units at level 15 or something, or level 20, and you got its HP down to 50%, when you start with the next team, it'll be at 50%. So you're not restarting the level; you're just using a different team. Um, and typically, as you're doing this, like you're not going to lose all 5 of your units at once. You might lose like 1 or 2. So say like my Elsa is gone, and say my 9S is gone. So instead, I'll use 2 other units. Maybe I'll use a healer now because I see my units are starting to die. So I'll use Ayaka, and I might even use like lower variety units as well, like Mont. And I might run with this team. And eventually, when all of my units are done, like I don't have any more units to throw at this stage, I can't I can't play it anymore until the reset timer. So you get 1 reset every 24 hours. It actually counts, I believe, from when you click on it. So it's not, it doesn't reset at midnight. So if you get done with like, it, the sooner you do it, the sooner you do the levels, the faster you can hit that reset button, basically. I mean, it'll still be a 24-hour limitation. But for example, like, suppose I'm doing it now, which is like, say 12 hours, actually more than 12 hours, but 12 hours after the resets, I'm doing it now, and then it takes me, say, 6 hours to get through the material. And Basically, I've uh, sorry, that's not a good example. So, but basically, sometimes I've been in the position where sometimes I've uh, I've not reset at the 24-hour mark. I reset like way after that. So say I've sometimes reset at like the 38th hour mark or something. So I've foregone like 14 hours of resets basically, right? And sometimes that catches up, and I lose like 1 or 2 days of resets. So just just keep in mind. I mean, don't stress out over it. Don't make sure you have to do it exactly on the 24-hour mark, but try to get it done. The sooner, the earlier in the day you can get it done, the better. That's also why I'm releasing this video 1 day before this material hits, so that you can plan and try to also plan out your day. Basically, if you are always doing the tower, say you have like 1 hour a day that you're going to do tower content at, and you do it every day on the exact same hour, that's fine. And if you and say like you have say 30 characters, and you don't have the time or the patience to go through every single 30 character, just use your top 10. Like use your top like A team, get as high as you can, and then use your B team and get as high as you can, and say that takes 1 hour. Then that's fine. Leave it. Like don't stress out over it. The next day when resets hit the 24-hour mark, hit your reset and start using your A team again. Uh, don't stress over these like little details to get like min max. As long as you do the levels, that's all that really matters, right? Um, and something else to say, like when I first started doing the tower, the very first time it came, I thought it was pretty challenging, and I was able to do it, but I had to use my brain a little bit. So a lot of the levels of the towers are by element. So for example, one of the levels might be like a water stage where everyone is a water, or everyone or most of the units in that stage is a water unit. So typically you want to bring a thunder units to clear that stage, and that's what I typically did when I started. But the very second time I did it, when it increased by 10 more levels, I found it was quite easy, and I could easily like auto the whole thing. So it actually made it less rewarding to play, because I mean it's not really fun to just auto it over like 3 days. I just sent everything I had at it. If they die, it doesn't matter. I reset again and send the next team, and so on and so on. And by 3 days, I was done. And it was not really fun. It's just basically like any other auto content, right? So I found it to be a lot more challenging and interesting when my account wasn't as powerful. So the third time I did it, like when the next 10 stages were released, I actually made it a point not to use the most optimized units for it. So for example, like if it was like a an ice stage, and they were weak to say missile and ice units, sorry, missile and fire units. Luartha is the best unit for that stage. So I would make it a point to not bring Luartha and see how I could tackle the stage. And it was actually a lot more fun this way, because I had to plan out my units really well. And I also tried to make an additional challenge for myself, to not have any units die in the entire run. So I could reset, but I didn't want them to die. So I had to make sure all my 5 units survived. And it was just a lot more fun to do it that way, because I would think of like really interesting strategies that I would never have thought of before. One such strategy is using Miranda, for example. So Miranda has a really interesting LB, which would confuse everybody in an AoE around her. So she also has a skill called transposition, which she can switch with either ally or an enemy. So I would have a tank like Rain, who would use Astral Guard, basically his hate skill, and keep taking attacks from enemies. And right before his hate disappeared, and before he dies, obviously, I would use Miranda to transposition with him. And when it was her turn, she would then use the LB. She would use her Crimson Storm Limit Burst and confuse everybody. And I would also make sure that she had the Vow of Love card equipped, so that when they're confused, they target her instead of each other. So that lasted for a few turns, and by that time, I was able to like defeat everybody. It was quite difficult to do it without Loartha, but it was also a lot more rewarding. So just take it as a challenge. If you're a new player, you can use strategies that you might not be using other times. Like for example, Steel Heart and other status effects go a long way in Tower. And a lot of people, especially at the very beginning, was like, "Oh, you should raise Zazan because he's going to be great for the tower, because under his thief subjob he has access to Steel Heart." So you can use Zazan or other units, especially like the lower tier units, because Steel Heart is Steel Heart. Like you charm them, you don't need to do damage to them; they will damage each other. So, just have fun with it. See how high you can get. Don't stress out over it. Another point I'm making to try to get you to relax is you don't feel like you're missing out if you don't complete the tower to level 50 on the first go. Because, for example, the last time the tower came back, it was from up to a max of level 40. When I started, who have already completed the tower the previous time started, I could only go from level 30 to 40. So I'm not getting twice the amount of rewards from level 1 to 30. It's whatever I completed to last time, it just goes up by 10 more. So I started at level 30 and I went up to level 40. So if you only get to level 25, maybe the next time you're doing it, you have a much more powerful account, and you can do it from like say level 26 to level 60, right? So don't stress out over it. Just do the best you can. I think every either 10 levels or 20 levels, I think it's every 10 levels, you also get an EX stage, which is a little bit harder to do because these you have to do with the one shot. Like you have to use 10 units, sorry, not 10, use 5 units to take this on, and their health doesn't reset after like if you fail, their health uh, goes back to the full health. So it like for example, if you only damage 50% of the boss's health, the next time you do it, his health is not going to go back to sorry, his health is going to go back to 100. It's not going to be 50%. So those are like normal like stages in a boss fight, but you can only do it once. After you do it once, that's it for the tower. Maybe the next time it comes back, you can do it. Um, the other rewards that you get from the tower is basically things that you would use to level up an item. The items that you get from the tower. So, for example, here is the tide ring that I got. To awaken this, I need these items. Like I need the water mega crystal and I need the water Wayne ore. So I actually got a ton of these from like raids, right? So even if you don't get enough of these items from the metal shop for the tower, don't stress out about it. You can get it some other time from the raids or when it comes back. So it's not a big deal. As long as you get the item, and again, I think it's only the Crimson Saber that's really like very, very good. The other items are, I think, more situational to get. So it's not like nothing here is a must-have unless you really, really plan to use rain. Then yes, you should get a sword. Um, but the main thing that I'm trying to say is to take it easy, don't stress out over it, and instead actually take it as a challenge. See how far you can get to, because I think as this is one of the hardest contents of the game, like thinking about how to do it and tackling this is actually quite rewarding. So see how far you can get. I hope you have fun with this. I really had fun with it the very first time I did it. Now I probably have a strong enough account to be able to auto a lot of it. So I don't know if I'm going to auto it. If I'm lazy, I might just auto it and throw everything at it and auto it and get it done. But or I might have some kind of challenge where I'm challenging myself to do it with certain limitations or something. We'll see what I get to. But either way, I hope you guys really enjoy the tower content. If you are having a lot of trouble with it, like leave me a message. You can probably find me in on Reddit or Discord or even like under this YouTube video in the comment section. Let me know what you're having trouble with, and I'll see if I can help. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, guys. Bye.